On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
I may have gotten it wrong, or I may have entered this relationship, this marriage, with the wrong mindset. But now they starting to understand what's going on. And so it's like, when they bring it to these women, either they're going to accept it or they're not going to accept it. They're going to have to meet those demands. They're going to have to step it up if they haven't been stepping up. And again, it's not everybody, but I'm just saying for the people that are in this situation. I'm not speaking for everybody not in this situation, but the people I'm speaking personally, because I know I got about 5 or 6 people currently that I know that are married, that are having these issues, and they looking at things differently. They're currently having issues within their marriages. They're currently demanding more. And they're currently in talks about possibly having a divorce and being okay with it because the woman doesn't want to align. So if a woman doesn't want to align, and he's a great person. If you guys just tuned in, welcome to Lapeef, Let's Talk again. Make sure you guys get them likes up. Moving on to my next topic, which is JR's perspective. I left everybody in mystery about this one. It may be big for some people, it may not be big for somebody, but as I just been paying attention to what's going on, my prediction is that you guys, look at you guys. More men will start filing for divorce. More men will start filing for divorce. And I'm going to give you guys some reason as to why I think this. And I'm also add some additional to it because I don't want this to spiral out of control. Within the next 3 years, I believe that more men will start filing for divorce because if you guys have not been paying attention, and certainly you guys have, the men are speaking up. They voicing their concerns. There have been platforms that have been waking folks up, such as Lapeef Let's Talk and the Lapeef Network. We got the Kevin Samuels, we got the roommates, and a host of others. But
shout out to the roommates.
Yeah, shout out to the roommates. O'Shea, everybody is speaking up, and the men are asking questions. The men are seeking knowledge. The men that I have been talking to that are currently married are telling me that they are learning. They enter marriage not knowing their worth. They enter marriage not questioning certain things. And so even though the statistics currently say that more women are filing, the men are fed up. The men are fed up. They are. And if the women don't change their behaviors, if the women do not step up to the plate, if they don't lose their masculine energy, if they don't get in touch with their femininity, they are on their way out. The men are not taking it no more, because what's also happening on the other side is that you see women are paying attention as well, and women are learning. And so the women that currently wasn't in their feminine energy, they want to seek how. That's why they are on these platforms trying to get more informed and to see what's going on. What is this? Because the men are turned on. I am one of those men that didn't even understand what a feminine woman really looked like. I witnessed it. And when I witnessed it, it was amazing. It was amazing. And from that moment on, I began to think like, damn, this shit is real. And I spread the message like, you guys don't know what you're missing. So what men are seeing and what men are seeing women willing to do now, it's amazing. It's amazing. So the women that are currently married, if you are not changing your behavior, guess what? Men are not going to tolerate it no more. They're going to be the one filing for divorce. And I want to put this out there. I do not want this to happen. I do not. But this is just my prediction, because if the women do not change their behavior and adjust to the movement, that's just what's going to happen. So after we talk about this, my prediction, I want to also have some solutions as to how can we prevent this? Because again, I don't want it to happen, but I'm just paying attention to seeing what's going on. I'm seeing a lot of men just like, man, what have I been thinking? I feel you. If that woman is not doing her womanly duties, guess what? she's slipping. And if you're a high value man or you're a man on your purpose, as we always preach, guess what? There are tons of women that want to be in that position. So let's talk about this. Let's talk. Start with you, Rilla. Talk about my prediction about men within the next 3 years potentially might be filing for divorce. And those numbers you might seesaw a little bit. What you think?
Man, look, one thing I can count on you for is consistency, because the chat called it. They said, Rilla, go first. I don't know. I
you
think
bring that energy, Rilla. We need you first, bro.
But this is the thing, though. Real talk on this one. I think a man's nature, we can't fight against our nature is to stay. Even when I talk about the situation with the mother of my children, man, I ain't gonna even lie to you, dog. I was willing to stay. I was willing to try and figure a way to work it out. And I think that's a man's genuine nature. What I do think is going to happen, JR, to your point, there are men waking up. I'm one of them as well, because again, when I first came to the platform, I was very linear and microcosmic in my view of what was happening on the landscape, just based on my sphere of influence, right? But as I traverse these YouTube streets, and you're seeing other men telling their stories, and it's like it's similar to yours, or similar to this one, or similar to, like, man, everybody's saying the same thing. What you're really seeing is men starting to say, yep, I got to get on my purpose, I got to level up. Yep, you right, can't keep, like, as much as some people hate when Anton be talking about victim Olympics, I do see a lot more men talking about, I'm not jumping down with that campaign. I'm not making no excuses. Yes, I can acknowledge,
first place, baby.
I can acknowledge what happened, but that's not what's going to keep me down. It's not going to keep me in this place. So men are leveling up. We're reading books. We're trying to figure out how to be the best version of ourselves. We're asking for recommendations, and it's not just gaining knowledge for the sake of gaining knowledge to be able to spit, rhetoric, right? It's to actually make impact and change your life so you can level up and become the best version of yourself. So that's what I see happening. Once that happens, men will start demanding more of their women. And when they demand more of their women, those women will have to make a choice. Now, my prediction is, well, I won't say my prediction. My hope is when those men level up, become the best versions of themselves, become the prophet, priests, and kings of their home, and they're leading in the fashion that they're supposed to lead, those women will respond accordingly.
Okay. What you think, Courtney?
I don't believe in your prediction, especially when you say that men are waking up, and then there's women also that's in these particular shows and learning too. That will only create greatness. So I don't think men are going to be divorcing women, because no one wants to divorce.
I'm not wishing it, but what I'm saying is that I know a lot of men that are challenging their wives, right? They're challenging them. Like, they may not have been, and again, it's not everybody, but what I'm seeing is that because all the information that's out there now that people can see and hear, that they're like, you know what? I may have gotten it wrong, or I may have entered this relationship, this marriage, with the wrong mindset. But now they starting to understand what's going on. And so it's like, when they bring it to these women, either they're going to accept it or they're not going to accept it. They're going to have to meet those demands. They're going to have to step it up if they haven't been stepping up. And again, it's not everybody, but I'm just saying for the people that are in this situation. I'm not speaking for everybody not in this situation, but the people I'm speaking personally, because I know I got about 5 or 6 people currently that I know that are married, that are having these issues, and they looking at things differently. They're currently having issues within their marriages. They're currently demanding more. And they're currently in talks about possibly having a divorce and being okay with it because the woman doesn't want to align. So if a woman doesn't want to align, and he's a great person,